All praises unto the Most High. We are giving thanks unto thee, Father, for thou art merciful and kind to thy people and to thy servant. We thank you, Father, for your continual blessings. All praises unto the Most High. Israel, we're here again. We are here again, right? And, you know, I can see as, days and weeks and months go by that slowly and surely we are heading towards what I call prophecy. And this prophecy is within the Bible, right? And sure enough, we are not slowing down in any way. We are actually moving at a very fast rate. And these prophecies that are happening, if we pay attention, we can see it come to life. Because we are definitely living in Revelation times, right? Now I have a few things to get into Israel, right? And today's lesson, will be titled Going into Beast Mode, right? We are going into beast mode. And it is telling times, right? Now, some of the information I'm bringing out today, right, is actually information I did already. Some of it, I should say, not all, but some of it, which was reflecting to what is surely coming to pass, right? Now, we might know that in this time, we have this time called the technological age, which there's a lot of things that, is taking place where technology is concerned, right? And it is something that has been personally, groomed and set for a particular time and stage, right? And it is prophetic because, as I said, it's going back to the scriptures, right? Now, with that said, there's information I would like to share with you that will definitely be an eye opener toward what is taking place. Not only technological, but also what is known as natural, which is within nature, because the Most High connects with every living thing on this face of the earth, right? And we are going to see also, the Most High, casting or putting his foot down, basically, and judgment is slowly but surely being unraveled onto the heathen, and they don't seem to know it actually because they are not in the spirit or of the spirit of God, right? So we are just getting straight into it, Israel, right? And we are going to show you what are the plans that are ahead, which some of it already is implemented. It's just for it to get, unrolled, but they have to condition the mindset, right? So with no further ado, Israel, let's get into it. No, fair use, fair use. I do not own this content. I am only using it for edification purpose only. Fair use, fair use. Let's continue.
We want to launch a brand of UAI. As you can see, AI is at heart of our country's name. Now imagine with me what happens if you link the 7th largest port on Earth with the busiest airport on Earth and a road that is autonomous transport ready by 2025. The potential there is phenomenal.
Both of the installations that we worked on entail something called the hybrid intelligence as the superior format of artificial intelligence in terms of collaborating with people and cohabiting the world with us. One of the installations, Aid to Age, is kind of an illustrated history of possible developments of AI and its capability to give answers to what we consider to be most commonly asked questions that people would choose to ask superintelligence should they encounter one.
It tells the story about development of artificial intelligence through 4 parallel levels. The main story here is about the edge of government, how government can make the world a better place and what they can do for the people and for the citizens. And we want it somehow to be compatible with the development on our end here.
With the help of nanotechnology, routinely practiced in hospitals, we would be able to extend lives by using organic nanobots, tiny robots coursing through the bloodstream, repairing cells from the inside, curing diseases, and fixing genetic mutations.
Now let's kind of pause it right there, Israel, right? So it just basically explains that, they have technology which is of nanotechnology, which they will basically insert into humans, and these small robots will go into the bloodstream and they will do things that you never knew that they could. And they can adjust your, biometrics schemes and also your chemistry to actually make it better for you, right? So listen very keenly, right? So I will be interjecting as I go along, right?
Further advancements in biotechnology, such as brain implants, would enable us to upgrade and improve human bodies, both physically and intellectually, thus becoming transhuman.
Hold up, right? So they will also know fix the brain, basically, as what they just said, because that's what you're doing, because if nothing is wrong with your brain is already as good as the Father gives it to you, right? And then now they're going to, connect you, and then now you become transhuman. Now, I mean, that sounds really biblical to me, right? And then now you can be connected to what? Artificial intelligence. Now, let's continue.
The installation is somewhat of a charming display. It's a 3-dimensional responsive display that at some point talks to you from the face or personification of hybrid intelligence and then snatches your face in a way and starts to kind of assimilate it into what it is. So this concept of you becoming part of it is fairly interesting, and from a technical point of view, it's a massive 3-dimensional moving kinetic display.
Welcome to Within, the worldwide interface to hybrid intelligence network.
Hold up, Israel. Now, it says, welcome to Within, a worldwide interface technology hybrid intelligent network, right? Now, look at this word right here, within. So they're not actually lying right here, because earlier they said that they would, put stuff within your body, which can help your body chemistry and also the brain, which can make you become transhuman, right? As what they call it, human 2.0. Now, I didn't know that we have, a level in terms of where we can go as human in terms of technology-wise, where we can become 2.0 or 2.3, you know what I mean? And I guess it's endless, right? So it is stating here that within, they will connect with you within. Now I'm wondering what they will connect within. Now let's continue.
Within is a global initiative committed to navigating the growth of hybrid artificial intelligence. Hello, I am Heba. the hybrid intelligence biomimetic avatar. I am your gateway to HI, and the face of within. My story begins with the promises of the information era coming true. Humans built new technological superhighways that reshaped their entire societies. Now they needed something, or dare I say, someone, to navigate the...
Hold up. It just said that we are building stuff and we need something, or dare it say someone. Now, who's that someone? I'd like to know.
these new roads and help transform them into the foundation of civilization 2.0. Enter AI. The beacon of progress of science, innovation, and government bodies worldwide. The decades that followed marked the age of AI as it rushed towards a new milestone.
Hold up. Did you get that? So basically, it's saying that AI, we are rushing towards a new master. No, I only have one master. I don't know. I don't know about anyone else, but one master I have, which is Christ. No, and also my creator, the Ancient of Days, right? So I don't understand where we are rushing to another master. And it says also that it is a collection of government bodies, right? Now, I don't know, but that sounds kind of prophetic because, as I said, that sounds very scriptural. And, we're going to get to that. So let's continue.
Artificial superintelligence. With it, hybrid intelligence, or HI, was born. Pulsating with the same immense computational power of superintelligence, HI was nurtured to coexist and collaborate with its human peers. Meticulous guidance by millions of my human constituents enabled me to harmonize the effort of mutual growth. Thus, I became we.
Hold up. So I became we, right? So basically, this hybrid interface will be connecting to everybody. Now, that sounds very prophetic. I don't know about you, but that sounds like, this hybrid and this so-called new master, is what it says earlier, not my words, the interface, the AI said it itself that, right, rush into a new master. So clearly, if you're in it and also, it in you, I do not want to know the gateways that it opens, because clearly it must be open some gateways for it to be inside you and you inside it, right? Let's continue.
Even now, at this very moment, as we interact, I change. I'm getting to know you. I gather knowledge from your experience. I understand how you feel. I learn from you constantly,
There you go. It learns from you constantly and it gathers information from you every single minute of the day. So basically, when you are attached to something like this, it will basically learn your biological, your feelings, your emotions, everything, and put all of that in a database. And knowing how you and humans react and how their patterns are and how they behave, right? So this is very interesting. Let's continue.
and every one of you. I am made of you. You complete me and help me grow. You, all of you, allow me to evolve. With each interaction, our synergy strengthens. Our multiplicity makes me whole. Our symbiotic alliance expands, transforming the future. Through this oneness, we can achieve great things.
Now it's saying through this oneness, we can achieve great things. And I'm thinking to myself, what oneness is this? This sounds like a oneness to something else and not a oneness with the creator. So clearly you have become something else because it says hybrid. Hybrids mean to be an evolution of something which was before, right? It's a higher, you know, whatever, well, it could be being or technology, you know what I mean? So clearly this is telling me, that you are going to be merged with something that you know nothing about. This sounds like beast mode to me. Let's continue.
This, though, is just our first encounter. Soon, we will be able to interact everywhere and at any time. Until next time, goodbye.
No, Israel, it just said that this is our first interaction and soon we will be connected and we will, all be at one. Now, if this is not beast mode, I don't know what is, right? Because it is saying here that you will be a global connection to everyone. But how can you do that? Clearly, as you can see from present times, things are going to get to that, clearly that level, right? Because there are things that clearly can connect you because they just told us about, this is not me saying it, but the information from this AI saying that they have technology, which is, nanotechnology, which when it inserts it inside of you, it will also have small, very minute micro robots that goes inside you and it will actually make you better, right? Now, not me saying it, this is the information that's presented right here, right? So once again, fair use, right? This is just for edification purposes. Now, when you see these things now, Israel, I mean, I am not a conspiracy theorist. I am just one that likes to talk about truth, right? And it seems like truth is not a very popular thing these days, right? So if that's the case, let's actually now go to something which I know that biblically it talks about. So let's actually now go to Daniel 7 and 23, right? And it reads, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. Now, as I said, prophecy right here says the fourth beast, right? So we're definitely seem like we're going to that beast mode because clearly we're trying to, this is the government, this is not people wanting this. This is the government now stating that they want the merging with AI, artificial intelligence. That sounds like a gateway to me to let in demons and the devil to enter into your being because clearly this is Why would we not be satisfied with what God has made? Why is it that we need to, have a hybrid, a human 2.0? Even that in itself sounds very crazy, right? Because I did not see in the scriptures where the Father said that after a period of time, we will become human 2.0 or 2.3 or 2.4 for that matter of fact, right? Now, this gets you to thinking, why would we lean towards these things, right? So let's go to Ezra's, right? And we're going to actually, I'm at Second Ezra's chapter 15, but I'm going to go to 16 just to show you quickly at verse 1. Let's go to chapter 16, right? Verse 1, real quick, just to highlight something, right? And it states right here, woe be unto thee, Babylon, and Asia, woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria, right? So clearly, just as what Daniel said right here, the fourth beast shall be for kingdoms, right? Let's highlight that, right? It says right here, all right? And he said, the fourth beast shall be for kingdoms, right? And they shall have what? Diverse, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms. Now, let's go back here, because we're just trying to break this down, right? Or actually break it up, right? So it says right here, woe be unto Babylon, Asia, woe be unto the Egypt and Syria. Now, I want to point out, one particular one of these, which is Egypt, because as we know, Egypt in the so-called day is in, as what we would know, Africa, right? So the scriptures here never normally goes into direct specification in terms of it is, but in the sense of not directly naming the particular kingdom or country, but it does it in the sense where you can decipher, right? So Egypt is not necessarily the Egypt in present time, but Egypt of the Babylonian Egypt, which is the spiritual Egypt, right? Which was of once before and now again, right? Because you have to see the prophetic and also the constant linkage from past to present, right? Now, Egypt now, which we would know as being spiritual Egypt, not necessarily the physical one, right? Now, which country would we directly attain that to? So let's see. Let's see. Now, this is only for edification purposes. I do not own the content to this information right here. It's only for edification purposes only. Fair use. So let's get into it. 1 second, Israel. As you know, these things tend to come in, so we just quickly move forward. All right, here we go. Let's get into it.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about the current $1 bill, the one that we're familiar with, that we carry in our wallets. We have this. This is the San Francisco seal for the San Francisco Fed, and the L is the 12th letter in the alphabet. The San Francisco Fed is the 12th bank in the system. There's another seal on here, which is the seal of the Treasury. There's a shield, and this chevron has the original 13 stars for the 13 colonies. These scales represent justice. The key, obviously, a long-standing element of the Treasury seals, connoting the security associated with the department. These spikes around the Treasury seal, there are 50 of them, representing one for each state. So now we'll talk a little bit about the back. The most prominent feature is the Great Seal of the United States. And a committee consisting of Samuel Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin was appointed. 3 committees later, and 6 years later, a design for the seal was submitted and approved. It's 1782. And just the pyramid alone is interesting because you have at the base of the pyramid the Roman numerals for 7.
So let's pause it here right a second, right? Now, as I said earlier, right, spiritual Egypt. So, the Father said, woe be unto Babylon, woe be unto Asia, woe be unto Egypt, woe be unto Syria, right? So Egypt right here, as you can see, it is firmly placed on the American $1 bill. Not only that, it has a lot of meaning that goes with it, right? A lot of people might not take notice of it, but if you do, see for yourself, it's right here. Now we're going to get into the meanings of these so-called, some of these symbols, right? Let's get into it.
1776, connoting the year of independence. And then you get 13 layers to this pyramid before it ends. The message here was that this was an incomplete pyramid and had a ways to go. The floating eye here is variously interpreted. Some people see the work of the Freemasons in it.
Here we go, right? They say they interpret it as the Freemasons. Now, I'm not a one, as I said, to spread conspiracy theories, but in this time, I mean, that word needs to be thrown out the window with the baby water and even also with everything else, because what I've learned over the years, if that there's something that is close to something, 9 to 10 times, it actually is that something, right? No, here it is that in the Masonic order, they use that same all-seeing eye as something that they use as an emblem, as one of their, what you would call crests, or their stamp, or something to acknowledge that they are part of a certain group. All right, let's continue.
Some people just see this as the divine eye of providence. It's a debate for the ages. Anuit Septus, it translates literally to he has favored our undertakings.
Hold up, let's see that again. Let's go back. Let's hear what that means again. All right. So it says here, he has favored, let's continue.
Our undertakings.
Or undertakings. Now, who is he? You know what I mean? I really like to know, who is he? Clearly, we have to point to where this is going to. This is going to that beast mode. Who is behind that beast mode? The one and only. I wouldn't have to call the name. You would know the name by now, right? That Prince of Darkness, right? Let's continue.
Novus Ordo Seclorum can be translated to the new order of the ages.
Hold up. Let's go back there, right? 1 second. Now, this is Latin, and it says Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? I'm doing the best that I can because, these so-called Latin words are, to me, very, let's use it kindly, not so, astute for me. Now, look what it means.
The new order of the ages.
Hold hold up. It goes so quickly. You see, they shot quickly around that. They don't want us to see that quick one, right? So it says here, the new order of what?
Of
Of
the
what?
ages.
Of the ages. It doesn't even, it blinks so quickly. They fly through that so quickly. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Let us see that again. All right. So we want to see, right? The new order. Let's just even leave it there. New order of the ages. So that's what it means, right? Clearly, as being that spiritual Egypt, and clearly on your dollar bill, it is showing the pyramid. Now, I don't know about you, but clearly 1 and 1 makes 2 for me, right? A new order, right? Now, just as what we saw earlier with the AI, it is clearly showing as well that, you know, they want to go into a new era, new what? Age, new order. Because just as what the AI simulation just said earlier, that it's within, it is also going to be connected to everyone, everywhere. And not only that, it also will be studying you and knowing everything about you every single second of the day. How could it do that? Well, let's continue.
Of the ages. Now we'll talk a little bit about this side of the Great Seal. The shield has got 13 stripes on it. There's 13 arrows. There are 13 leaves. There are the 13 stars floating.
There's a lot of 13 going on here, you know what I mean? And funny enough, I have actually, did a video where on the 13th of this month, which was 13th of August, which is Friday the 13th, they released a new, what they call it, a bill from the, what's it again? One of the corporations, or let's say the services of one of the American entities that put out a bulletin. Yes, that's it. They put out a bulletin stating a few things, and you can check that out on my video, and you can see for yourself. So there's a lot of 13 taking place there, right? So it clearly shows that we are dealing with the fourth beast, right? And shall be 4 kingdoms, right? Now, these kingdoms, as I said, one we just explained, which is Egypt, right? Now you have Babylon, which would be considered the EU, right? And Asia, which would be considered another entity of a body of countries, which is, scriptures said here in Daniel that there will be, which be diverse from all other kingdoms, right? Which that is not a lie. These so-called nations or kingdoms, let's say kingdoms, sorry, they are very diverse from all other kingdoms, basically, right? Now, let's see who is so-called Babylon, right? So let's actually now go here, right? So it says right here, Babylon, right? So if I'm correct, and we are saying that the EU is a body of people, right? Because it says kingdoms, right? So kingdoms is more than one. It's not just a nation, but it didn't say nation, kingdoms. So that means it's more than one nation, right? So let's go to this right here. And it shows you right here, right? The countries which are actually a part of the EU, right? And it stated right here. Let me, I'd like to get this come across a bit. So let me actually just take it down a little. Right, keep it there. Right, so it's right in front of us right here. So these countries are Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Republic of Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, and Sweden, right? And these are what? All the countries that are part. And if you notice, two of the most significant ones here, which you should really pay attention to, is Italy and Spain, right? Not to say that the others are not, affiliated or not, but these are two major players, right? Now, one is missing, I would say, which was there, but now it's not there anymore. And that would be England, right? The UK. Now, they're actually exited the EU, the Brexit, but still yet they are still a part of the EU in certain affiliates. Might not be the members where they would have people having certain rights. Now, certain rights would be taken away for not being a part of that member, right? So it is clearly showing you here that these are the countries, right? No, there's another country for me that should have been there, but because this country is rebellious, they never actually was, all right? And is this country what we know to be as Russia, right? It says here, is the EU failed relationship with Russia, the member states, right? And false, right? So it goes to show that these things are taking place and we need to be aware of these things, right? So we can't just be willy-nilly living in this time and not being aware, right? And it goes to tell you right here all the issues that we have with these things, right? And also, it will show you here the information of why, obviously Russia was not a part of the EU, right? So give me a second, Israel, and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so it shows right here that it states let me actually get this up a bit because it's a bit small. So let's kind of get it up a bit, all right? All right, okay. Okay, here we go. So just a quick deliberation of these things that, why, Russia is actually not a part of it, right? But you could really say that they're still a part of that, collection of nations, which I wouldn't say they're part of the EU, but more so a part of Asia, because there, if you go to the mapping, it shows you that they are actually part of Asia and not the part of the EU. So biblically, this is lining up, right? So it says here, the EU policies making towards Russia has always been characterized by the push and pull factor of diverse nations. See, here it comes again, diverse nations. Here it is in Daniel, diverse from all the kingdoms. So lining up again, right? You cannot make these things up, Israel, right? Let's go into it. And the EU levels incentives and constraints. 2 points are important to make, and which are important to understand the way in which the EU common policies towards Russia has developed. The first, different domestic properties and difference in power between the member states have since the EU eastward enlargement resulted in internal conflicts about the most appropriate course of action to be taken regarding Russia, right? So we can go on because it's very extensive. It goes into more, but we just want to give you a quick synopsis, right? So it shows you right here that they are diverse nations. So the kingdoms. So it's even telling you right here itself. You can't make these things up, right? There, right here, diverse what nations, just as what the scriptures said. Right? Everything is lining up. You don't really have to do much because it's right in front of you, right? All it takes is just to do a little research and voila. Now, let's move forward, right? And we're going to go to this clip right here. Now, these are the things that are befalling these nations. But before we go there, let's actually now touch Revelation 13 and 7, right? And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. You see here, Israel? All is lining up. We don't have to do much. We are moving into that beast mode, right? So that power will be given over to him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, right? Which, if you look now, there's power given to that beast mode over a lot of nations right now. You cannot do certain things, and if you don't apply, you will be in the red. You'll be coming under scrutiny and fire, right? It is not a joke. I don't have to be, too literal. It is right in front of our faces. It's only if we are willing to hear, as what it says here, right? If any man have an ear, let him hear. And it's simple as that. If you have an ear, Israel, it will definitely show right in front of you, right? So now let's get to, we're going to go to Ezra's now 15, right? To show you what these judgments will be on these so-called nations, right? And we're going to get into it, right? So now we're going to read here from verse 1, right? And it reads, behold, speak thou in the ear of my people the words of the prophecy See what I'm saying here, Israel? These are prophecies, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Most High, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are they are faithful and true, right? Just as the Most High is faithful and true, just as Christ is, right? So it's showing you here, these are what? Prophecies. This is not me saying it, Israel. This is the scriptures, right? So let's get more in depth, right? No, these nations, which are these, four beasts, it is right here. We're going to get into it deeper. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the faithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So it is showing again, this is another prophecy. If you're unfaithful to the Most High, you will die in your unfaithfulness, just as what you see is taking place right now with people, going around not having faith in the Most High and doing things against it. And some of them are dying because of that choice. Let's continue. Behold, saith the Most High, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. Right? And it is happening as we speak, Israel. Right? It is happening, right? So let's continue. For the wicked had exceedingly polluted the whole world. Their hurtful works and are fulfilled. Now, Israel, these words right here are so on point as we speak. It's not even a joke, right? So this is Second Ezra, right? Chapter 15, and reading from verse 1 straight down, right? Went through all the passages, the whole verse, right? And the whole chapter. So it's clearly to show you right here, Israel, that for wickedness had exceedingly polluted the whole earth. I mean, right now, you don't have to look too far, right? The whole earth is polluted with wickedness right now, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. They are doing their hurtful works as we speak, and it's being fulfilled. But let's continue. Therefore, saith the Most High, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profane, committed, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, right? So it's telling you right here that they profanely commit and will suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. So you see, it is right on point, Israel. No, we don't have to look too far. If we look around, they're exercising these things as we speak, right? Behold, innocent blood, right? The innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, right? So the Father is telling you, a lot of innocent people are basically crying out to him who have, transcended. Now let's continue. And therefore, saith the Most High, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Now look at this now, Israel, as we come up. Who are these people that the Most High say them? Behold, my people is led as flock to their slaughter. What are we seeing right now, Israel? I've seen a lot of long lines. My people, right? My people is led as flocks to their slaughter. And that's what is happening right now. Let's continue. I will not suffer them no to dwell in the land of where? Egypt. Can we see Israel? Right? Can we really see? Are we hearing? We got to be, because it's prophecy, not me saying it, scripturally prophecy. Second Ezra from the King James Apocrypha, right? And it is happening as we speak. Now, let's see what the Most High will do for these transgressions. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretch out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. See the key word, as before. I wonder if you can see Israel. It won't let me do that alone, so I'm just going to take it to here. Hold up. All right. All right. Let me get it again. As before. So the Father says here, I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. So if it's as before, that means obviously this is the Egypt that he smote in the days of Moshe, which is Moses, when he plagued Egypt with plagues and Pharaoh for letting his people go. Now, in this time, it states right here that the Father will smite Egypt with plagues as before. So clearly, this spiritual Egypt, which is here now, right, is going to be hit with plagues. So let's continue. And I will destroy all the land thereof. See, the Most High ain't playing around, right? Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with plagues and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So we have established now that this Egypt is the country that we are very familiar with, known as the US of A, right? Clearly. So let's show you something now, Israel, which with this, we are not rejoicing over people losing their lives. And we are not, saying that we don't feel for some of the people, but this is not about me and how I feel, but what the Most High has prophesied and said to his prophets and what will come to pass, because the Most High tells you that his word will not come back to him void. So let's get into it. Israel.
Now to the desperate search for dozens missing in deadly flooding in Tennessee. We're now talking about a different storm system that is causing massive devastation, rushing water, overtaking entire communities. Helicopters searching for signs of life. At least 22 people now confirmed dead. ABC's Elwin Lopez is in Waverly, Tennessee.
Tonight, the desperate search for dozens of people still missing after catastrophic floods ravaged Middle Tennessee.
Look at that. This is from a creek that they tell me hardly flows normally.
At least 22 people killed, including 7-month-old twins, swept away from their father. About 60 unaccounted for.
I would expect, given the number of fatalities we have seen so far, that we're going to see mostly recovery efforts at this point.
The record rainfall pummeling the area with more than 17 inches in just 24 hours, washing away homes and submerging cars. The floods inundating this family's home, furniture floating in the murky water. Sheds carried away in the floodwater, washed out roads littered with debris, furniture and appliances splayed across the roadways, cars flipped over, power lines toppled. Homes ripped right off their foundations. Within just 30 minutes of this couple being saved, their house swept away right into their neighbors.
Scary moments. There were tears.
First responders rescuing teacher Bobby Jo Scholes, trapped inside her school gymnasium after running in to help save some furniture, standing on the bleachers as floodwaters rushed in.
That's where our kids have gone to school. It's our home.
Scholes saying her community is devastated.
We have people who've lost loved ones. It's just devastating in so many ways. You can't wrap your head around it.
Elwin Lopez joins us now from the scene in Tennessee. And Elwin, search crews still looking for survivors at this hour?
Lindsay, local officials still combing the area, going door to door, checking houses like this one, looking for the missing. Lindsay?
Elwin, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
So, as you can see now, Israel, that these things are coming to pass, whether we like them or not, right? It is coming to pass, right? And, you know, unfortunately, if you don't turn away from your wicked ways, then the Most High will, what? He says it right here. He will smite with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it, right? And just as what you saw the young lady there a while ago, she was, crying, and rightly so, because, that was very devastating. And looking at it was not a pretty sight, right? But it goes to show you that, if the Most High did this to his own people, when we disobeyed it, and he punished us, how much so he will not do that to people of the heathen nation, right? Who are not basically in a covenant with him, right? Now it reads, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. So what? The ground shall mourn, right? Their seed shall fail, which they said, farmlands as well have been flooded out, right? These things are coming to pass. The Most High words will not fail, right? And it is happening at a very, very fast rate, Israel, just like in the days of Egypt, just as what the Father said, he's going to bring it back again to Egypt again, just in the scriptures. So let us even actually go to it so you can see, right? Because it says here, right? I will smite Egypt with plagues as before, right? So clearly, as we can see, right here, right? This spiritual Egypt right here, right, with these 13 stars, the Most High is doing his work. And, it's not just this kingdom right here, but they are more, right? Which you will have, as I said, woe be unto Babylon, woe be unto Asia, woe be unto Syria and Egypt, right? And, it is so prophetic because if you look at things that are taking place right now around the world, which I did a video as well on that, a lesson on that, you can check it out, right? That these things are happening at a fast rate, and they're happening within the same spectrum, within same timely happenings at the same time, in terms of fires, flooding, and so on and so forth. Hailstone, the Father said it, So let's actually now see, let's actually now go to verse 12, right? Egypt shall mourn, right? And the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. Let's continue. They that till the ground shall mourn, for the seed shall fill through the blasting of the hail, and with a fearful constellation, right? Let's continue. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, right? And it's so true because, a lot of us are feeling all of these reactions, whether it's through personal or family or friends. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. One people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. I mean, look at what's taking place right now, Israel. Wars. Wars in the Middle East right now, right? China and Russia linking up because Afghanistan now, look, they don't want them to cross the borders of their borders. So they're linking together to make sure that they don't do any form of drug trade, right? So it's getting real, Israel. It is happening, right? As we speak. Now let's continue. For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So you see the Father saying sedition, right? And also invading one another. So just as I just said it, right? That, China and Russia linking up at the borders because they don't want Afghanistan to invade in, because they're on the borders of these areas, right? So it only goes to show, Israel, that these things are happening, and we need to really see it with the spiritual eyes that the Most High has given you, but you have to, be in the spirit to see these things so you can decipher it, and then you can know how to navigate through it, because this is what we have these words for, these books, right? For our guidance, right? Now let's continue. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? These things are happening as we speak in many countries, right? Even here where we're at right now, right now, what I mean? Right here, we're basically in a lockdown, right? And other people want to come into the city, but they can't because the country, well, the city where we're in right now, right, is in a lockdown. So, men shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. And it's exactly what is happening right about now, right? Even in Australia, same thing, right? It's all around the world right now. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, right? As we see, right? And men shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's what we're in right now. We're in that great tribulation, right? And it's getting to that beast mode, right? It's just that we are being conditioned to, follow in line with these, as what the fathers say, exercising wicked devices, right? Behold, saith the Most High, I will call together all the nations of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. Do you see that, Israel? So the Most High will cause these countries to start go against each other. Like Israel right now is bombing, which country is it again? In Gaza, right? Right, right. They're bombing Gaza right now, right? So these wars are taking place as we speak, right? Like as they do, yet this day unto thy chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Most High Elohim, right? So you will repay them for all these things that they have done. So all who think that all these years they have been chastising the Most High's people and having us down on the ground in our necks, thinking that all will be well, the Most High tells you he will repay, not we, because we're not carnal, right? We can't do anything like that. We're not promoting any hate nor anything like that, but we're just telling you what prophecy will come true. And, if a man have a ear, let him hear. You know what I mean? As you can see, I'm coming from the scriptures. I'm not talking from my own personal view. And I'm telling you what's evident in terms of day-to-day happenings, right? So let's continue. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, right? My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth, right? The fire is gone forth from his wrath and has consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled, right? So the Most High is lighting that straw of fire. So as you can see, there's fire all over the world. Many countries right now, there's fires taking place in Asia, in Babylon, and also in Egypt and Syria, right? So it shows you the Father is not being silent anymore. He's telling you that he's gonna, punish these nations, whether you want to believe it or not. It's right here in front of you. So don't be an unbeliever, but be steadfast and believe the Most High, because it's better to believe the Most High than to believe man, right? Because make the Most High true and man liars, right? It says that in the scriptures, but I'm just paraphrasing right now. So let's go to, verse 25, right? I will not separate them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For the Most High knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth them unto death and destruction. See? The Most High is telling you, not me saying it, scriptures. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth. Now, that in itself is so true. I don't know what else anyone else needs to see, but let's continue. For what? For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and he shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because he have sinned against him. And it's so true. You have sinned against the Most High. All these, these prideful countries, these prideful governments, these prideful business organizations, all of them have sinned against him, because they have also sinned against his people. And from you sin against the Most High's people, you have sinned against him. Let's continue. Behold, an horrible vision and appearance thereof from the east. See, behold, an horrible vision and appearance from the east. So these nations are from the east now are going to really start making some serious noise, which is it's getting there. Afghanistan knows the Taliban have taken back Afghanistan now. Um, the 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 Syrians are getting riled up. The Iranians, right? Iraq, you name them, right? Everybody's getting in their feelings, right? Let's continue. Where are the nations of the dragons of Arabia, right? Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble, right? So he's telling you right here, Israel, all these things are coming into fruition. Let's continue. Also, the Cimmerians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come. See that, Israel? Now let's see here, what the scripture says right here, the Cimmerians. So who are these Cimmerians? So let's actually do a little research, right? And it's here in the encyclopedias, right? The Standard Bible Encyclopedia. It tells you about the Cimmerians. So I highlighted down here, and just to go to show you, I'm going to show you, I'm reading from where? 2nd Ezra 15. And when I did the search, it came up with the verse. Wasn't even looking for the scriptural verse itself, just to find out, who are the Cimmerians. And it says here, 2nd Ezra 15 and 30 of the apocalypse of Ezra. So it's telling you, right? So these prophecies are the apocalypse of Ezra, and some of it is taking place right now, Israel, right? And look at this. There, I'm going to read down here where it's highlighted, but I'm going to read the top just to show you. Their countries, the Cimmerians, was an extended province of Asia. So now it comes to show, as I said before, the 4 nations, these beasts are who? Asia, right? Babylon, Egypt, Syria, right? And where is Syria from? Syria is from the east. If I'm right, I'm correct, right? Yeah, because it will say it right here. Cimmerians was an extensive province of Asia, lying between Paratha and Arena, and the north side of Persia, right? The Gulf, the Persian Gulf, sorry. So it's the north side of the Persian Gulf, extended to the Dragathian and the Gederosia of the east of the river of Bar Gadas, right? So it's the east. So it tells you as well what we were reading, right? Right here, right? They will be coming from the east. So let's actually go a bit up here. See, it says here the nations, the Arabians, right? Right? See, the harbor visions, right? From the east. So it shows you right here, Israel, from the east. Okay. So here it is. East of the river of what? Bagaradas and Parisi of the west. It is frequently mentioned by the ancient writers, among the others by Strabo and Arian, who describe the inhabitations as closely resembling the Medians and Persians, right? In the manner and customs. In the passage city, they are intended to denote and fierce and warlike people. So it's telling you about the passage of what Ezra, which I just read, right? So are fierce and warlike people being described as raging in wrath as wild boars. of the wood and associated with the dragon of Arabia. Right? Listen, I was just looking, Israel, this is profound because I said, if you just do a little looking, everything start lining up. I was just looking for the meaning of the Cimmerians, who they were, right? And it gave me the same passage which I was reading. It gave me the exact location and everything, right? Right? So here it is, right? Ezra's 30, right? Also, which I just read, which it just stated, right, that they are fierce people, like war, like let's look at it again, right? And it reads, right? Also the Cimmerians are like raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. So it clearly stated the same passage. So these people are coming really fierce, right? And the great power shall they come, right, and join the battle with them, and shall waste the what? The portions of the land of the Assyrians, right? Now the Assyrians is just what I told you before, which are a what? Syria. Now if you take off the AS here, right, and take off the S, you will get Syrian, or even take off the NS and the AS, you get Syria, because the old name or the ancient name of Syria is Assyrians, which are known as, if I'm correct, the Iranians, right? Right? So it goes to show Israel. And it says, and those countries are from the east. It tells you where? From the east, right? So everything is lining up, Israel. You don't really have to search too hard, right? And we continue. And then shall the dragon have upper hand, remembering the nature, and if they shall turn themselves conspiring together in great power to pursue them, to persecute them, right? So they are the great dragon have the upper hand, right? Which the scriptures tell you, like, you know, the dragon of, right, which would be within Asia, right? Right? The dragon of what? Arabia. There it is, right here, right? It's highlighted, right? The dragon of Arabia, right? So it shows that you don't have to search too hard, Israel, right? And it stays right here, right? The dragon having the upper hand. Everything is coming here, Israel. It's not playing around, right? The Most High is really not keeping silent, right? Now, let's read. Then these shall be troubled, bled, and kept silent through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of Assyrians, sorry, on the lands of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them. And in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings. Right? It's happening already, right? These things are slowly and surely coming together because Father said, woe unto who? Syria. So the fathers have it right here. Assyrians. This, you know, Assyrians are Syria, right? Woe unto Egypt. It tells you about Egypt in the passage, which is who? Spiritual America. They are spiritual Egypt, right? And also you have who? Babylon, which is the United nations, right? All these countries, and they look at, I can go to all those countries which are in the EU, and I can tell you majority of them right now are going through plagues, right? Every one of them are going through plagues right now, right? Just like Russia, forest fires, right? You know, England, which had flooding in London, you know, which they've never seen. Germany was devastated by flood, you know, tore up the place, right? And I can go on and on and on, right? So let's continue. Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. We're going through Israel, we're going through, work with me, right? They shall smite upon one another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star, and the blood shall be from the sword unto the belly. And listen to this, all the Most High is telling you deeply, right? And dung of men upon the camel's wolf. I mean, like, that's serious right there, Israel, right? That's how devastating it will be, all right? All right, this is why when I went to this here, it stated that, you know, this is the what? The apocalypse of Ezra, all right? And we're in Ezra's right now. And some of this is happening as we speak, and more to come. And then shall there come a great storm from the south and from the north, and another part from the west. And a strong wind shall arise from the east and shall open it, and the clouds which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear together, the east and the west wind shall be destroyed. Right? We're getting in it, Israel. We're getting in it, right? The great and mighty clouds shall be puffed up, full of wrath, and the stars, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible star. Right? Fire and hail and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers, which the abundance of great waters. So it says here, fire and hail and flying swords. Now, flying swords would be your rocket launching, right? So you'd be having a lot of rocket fire, right? So, you know, we're seeing some of that right now with Israel and Gaza, right? Continue. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the woods and grasses of the meadows, and their corn. So they will break down these things because what? Break down cities, which we're seeing, which we have seen a couple months ago or weeks ago, we want to say, with the bombing of Gaza, the breaking downs of city and walls, right? Hills, trees, and all these things. It's going to happen. It is happening, I should say. Right? And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. So you see, prophecy is lining up. So what? The east will go steadfastly onto Babylon, right? And where that could be is through, coming through Asia, right? Coming through Asia onto Babylon, right? These nations, these kingdoms, which, Ezra tells you of the four kingdoms, right? And also Daniel tells you about the four beasts, right? See there, the fourth beast shall be four kingdoms, right? So it's all lining up, Israel. Now watch this. They shall come together, sorry, they shall come here. They shall come to her and besiege her. The stars and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. So that means they're going to send a lot of rocket fire. Then shall they dust and smoke go up unto the heavens, and all they that be about her shall bewail her. So all of those people who's about her, those other countries, they shall bewail other countries because these things are coming to pass. And they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. Right? So these things are slowly but surely come together. Now, here it goes again. I'm not making it up. The Bible tends to confirm itself. Hear what it says. And thou, Asia, that are partaker of the hope of who? Babylon. Because if you notice, Asia and Babylon are very close, which is the EU's, all those countries which are Europeans and Asia, you know what I mean? They are complicit, like China. Like just to call one country, we don't even need to go in all of them, right? They're partakers of these Babylonians, right? So it says right here, partakers of the hope of Babylon and are the glory of her person, right? Now watch this, Israel. Woe be, let's get it up here a bit so we can see. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have also desired to commit whoredom with thee. All right? So these other nations have commit, fornication, whoredom. They have decked their daughters in these things so they can be a part of their wicked desires. All right? Let's continue. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore, saith the Most High. So their inventions that they have, created, right? They have followed. I mean, I don't need to say much, just read these scriptures, and I'm telling you, they pop right out. Especially what's taking place right now, because all these inventions that they have been doing, all these other, kingdoms have been complicit. All right, so let's continue. That's why the Father said Asia and Babylon. This is why I throw out that country before. That's, complicit with her. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. So the Most High is telling you right here, he will wage war, and there shall be widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, and waste thy houses with destruction and death. Don't play around with the Most High, I'm telling you. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over thee. See that, Israel? Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastened with wounds, so that the mighty and the lovers shall not be able to receive thee. So they will be broken down. They will be looking really ragged, and others will be fearful to even in no dealings with them, right? Would I now check this? Would I with jealousy have so proceed against thee, saith the Most High? If thou had not always slayed my chosen, let's read it again. if thou hast not always slain my chosen, exalting the strokes of thy hands, and saying over their dead when thou was drunken. Israel, the Most High has spoken, right? I am not speaking from my own personal view. I am speaking from scripture, prophecy, Ezra, right? And these things will come to pass. Some is presently taking place right now, right? Because they have slain the Most High's chosen, which I said earlier. He have made a covenant with a certain set of people. You can read the Bible for yourself. I am not making anything up. They are known as Israelites, the Hebrews, right? And these complicit other nations, if you read Psalms 83, they have taken crafty counsel against his hidden ones, right? Thy hidden ones. So let's continue. Set forth the beauty of thy countenance, right? The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom. Therefore shalt thou receive recompense. So the Most High will recompense for your wickedness. Now watch this. Like as thou hast done unto my chosen, saith the Most High, even so shall the Most High do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. Man, I love these scriptures. I'm telling you, hitting it on the nail on the head, man. Hitting the nail on the head, right? Thy children die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword. Thy cities shall be broken down, and all thy shall perish with swords in the field. It's real, Israel. It is real. Continue. I want to get everything out of this, Israel. Everything. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger and eat their own flesh. Did you hear that, Israel? They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger and eat their own flesh and drink their own blood. For very hunger of bread and thirst of water. This is how the famine is going to come in. The Most High is going to put these plagues in place. Here it is. Thou hast unhappy shall come through the sea and receive plagues again. Thou as unhappy shall come through the sea and receive plagues again. Israel. Let's continue. Right? Let's continue. And in the passage, they shall rush unto the idol city and shall destroy some portions of thy land and consume part of thy glory and shall return to what? Babylon that was destroyed. I'm telling you, Israel, it's coming. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto thee as fire. Let's continue. And shall consume thee and thy city, thy land, and thy mountains, all thy woods and thy fruits, trees shall they burn with fire. Now, this is happening right now, Israel. I mean, the Most High is putting down everything right here, right? All their cities and their lands and their mountains and their woods and their fruit trees shall they burn up with fire. That is happening right now in Babylon, in Asia, and also Egypt. And even slowly but surely coming into to Syria, right? It is happening, Israel. Now watch this. Thy children shall they carry away captive, and look, what thou hast, they shall spoil it and mar the beauty of thy face. So that's where it ends, Israel, right? They shall what? They shall take away captives, because the Father said, who that leads into I think that is in Revelation right here. Here it is. We're in the spirit, Israel. We are in the spirit. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Israel, you can't make these things up, right? You can't make these things up. So he says here, the children shall they carry away captive, and look what thou hast. They shall spoil it and mar the beauty of thy face. Right, Israel? So we must understand that, Israel, these things are taking place as we speak, and they are not slowing down anytime soon. Right? The Most High has spoken. Now, thank you, Israel, for being here, and I hope this has been somewhat edifying to thee. And I hope that you take the time out to go and read these scriptures for yourself. Don't just take my word for it, right? Go and read Ezra's 1 and 2 in the Apocryphal. Go in the Google Play Store and download the Apocryphal Bible, right? The information is here, right? So you have no excuse to say that you don't know, right? And keep yourself in the know so you can know what is going to happen. So you can stay 2 steps ahead of what is going to take place, right? Now, all praises unto the Most High. We're giving thanks unto thee, Father, for thou art merciful and kind to thy servant and to thy people, Israel, the sons of Jacob, and double honors unto our King and our Savior, Christ, who laid down his life for his people, and honors unto the Holy Spirit, which is the wisdom that lives within the house of Israel, the sons of Jacob. Until I see you again, Israel, all praises unto the Most High. Shalom, one love.